War Eagle, War Rapport family, it's your host C-Dub here. And for tonight, friend of the show, JG Tate joins us to discuss his thoughts on A-Day this past weekend. Governor Kay Ivey signs a bill that allowed college athletes to actually profit off of their image, name, and likeness, and a proposed college football super league. More on that later on in the show. But for now, guys, are y'all ready to talk some football?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Well, they're ready. I hope you're ready because we are entering the war room.
You are now listening to the War Rapport. Wednesday night War Room. Ike Jones. B. Will. C. Doe. Mike G. With special guest J.G. Tate. Let's go!
War Eagle, everyone, and welcome to one of the best shows, if not the best show on these internets, the War Rapport. And it's just got better because we got friend of the show, JG Tate, on.
Yeah.
So it's official. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, what up?
Man, you know,
guys, listen. Just get all the formalities out the way, guys. Y'all know what to do. Please get on here, smash that like button. Please drop a comment or War Eagle in the chat. Let us know that you're in here rocking with us tonight. Also, we appreciate you guys sharing these videos, man. It helps us out a ton. Make sure when you do that, either on Facebook or Twitter, please be sure to use the hashtag the War Rapport or hashtag get your weight up, if not both of those. That helps us out a ton, and it helps spread the word that the War Rapport is out here. Mike G, what we got coming down the pipeline, sir? We got some things coming.
Listen, Chop It Up with a Pro is tomorrow. So if you are an insider, join us tomorrow. Chris Todd is going to be live with us, breaking down QB play, everybody's favorite topic to cover. So if you are not an insider, you can become one for $5.99. If you're on an iPhone, we got special instructions for you. So hit me up if you need to know how to do that. Our merch store is live. Get your weight up gear. Our GoFundMe is also live. You can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. And as I said, Chris Todd is joining us. We are extremely excited about being able to bring Chris on to talk to us about all things that concern QB play. Chris is an incredible marquee football with him. If you haven't seen that interview, it is a 2-part interview. I highly recommend going to check that out. Chris, he's got some strong feelings on the game and what it takes to be, a good QB at the college level. And as somebody who actually overcame quite a bit to be Auburn's QB, it's always interesting to talk to Chris. We chop it up off camera quite a bit, just talking about the game, and I really enjoy his thoughts. So again, if you're not an insider, this segment will be exclusive to insiders only. So if you signed up as a supporter, please do not send me any angry DMs about why you cannot get access to Chop It Up with a Pro. It is insider only. And if you don't know what Chop It Up with a Pro is, here's a sneak peek.
The fake is gonna bring that safety down, but that safety did a good job of recovering and picking up the over route.
What do you need to make sure that you're aware of in case something doesn't happen?
He's got to look back to the left.
Right.
Looking at the center's footwork, with whichever way the center's sliding, he's going to step with that foot first. But the center and the right guard have got to see that quicker.
When you have Tank leak out, Tank is going to catch that ball every time they do it. This over route that they're running is going to be open.
Chop It Up with a Pro, Chris Todd tomorrow. I'm extremely excited If you haven't seen these segments, watching Ike and former player breakdown film is a thing of beauty. So we highly recommend you become an insider so you get access to that, gentlemen.
Appreciate that, Mike G. Let's just get down to business. Let's just get out. Serious question. Let's just get it out the way. What you drinking on, JG? What you got tonight, man? Come on now.
Well, tonight we're rolling with this Four Roses, yo. Single barrel private selection from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Delicious bourbon right here.
So wait a minute. You had me thinking you were gonna be drinking the makers, but you just had the makers glass.
Yeah, so I was we were Twitter DMing, I guess, earlier. I was drinking a little something, but it wasn't actually makers. It was in a maker's glass, to be fair.
Yeah, so it was a really nice glass. I was like, oh, this is nice. I need one of those for my collection.
I'm still sipping on this Blanton's, JG, that you got me on. So I'm going to get that Four Roses for the next time you join.
And you had to really hustle to get that too, right? Because it's not easy to find.
Listen, it was a whole ass task to find this thing here in DC. I had to drive 15 miles to the other side of the city. And the place I found it up was a little, everyone was out except for a little known place called Turned Up Liquor. It was not in the best part of town, but they had it stocked under the shelves. So I was happy.
That sounds delicious.
I got there with my girl. She was like, "Where are we?" I was like, "Babe, we had Turned Up."
Hey man, this is kind of off topic, but did you live in Las Vegas at one time in your life?
I did. I was a Vegas guy after Auburn.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the phone number is about.
I went to Vegas recently, and it was. I thought it was a little overrated. Honestly, it wasn't as crazy and lecherous as I thought it would be. Maybe that's my fault. I don't know.
How long ago was it?
Is within the last couple of weeks.
Vegas ain't even the same Vegas right now, though.
No, it's not.
Right.
The chick's uglier now.
No, I'm just saying it's not. It's not as
busy
busy as It's COVID. It's post-COVID era Vegas. It's not the same.
They weren't real worried about the masks. Believe me, they weren't living like a COVID life.
Yeah, no. I was in Vegas. How long ago was that when I was remote in Vegas? Maybe like
a month ago.
Yeah. I've been in Vegas before, and I've been to Vegas within the last. It's definitely different.
Like, where were you hanging? Were you on the Strip, or were you in like downtown?
Yeah, I was like a block off of the Strip, right over there by Cosmopolitan.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had a feeling, man.
It's a weird place. And when you live there, right? Like, it's a joke when you live there about how long it's been since you've been down to the Strip, because you really only go down there when your friends come to visit. Yeah. And that means like 10 miles of walking in a single day.
Yeah.
So, Vegas is definitely an interesting place.
I found me a good place to eat, though, Mike G. I ate at a Mexican restaurant that was attached to a strip club, which sounds bad, but it was actually delicious.
Did you have the steak? That's the best thing.
It was right next to Sapphires. I know that.
Yeah.
It was good.
Amazing.
Yeah. Nice. I put it in my mouth. It was satisfying.
All right.
All right. No, I mean, it was delicious. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, listen, we got you here for limited time. Let's talk about it. A-Day was this past weekend. We've been talking about it extensively. Everyone knows our thoughts.
Hold on, before we get into that, can we talk about the fact that JG was live the whole time during A-Day? Did you go live for the entire game?
Yeah, we were starting the second quarter. I was a little bit late, but
so you missed 8 minutes.
Yeah, we did most of the most of the game. Yeah, and I mean, we talked about basketball too. Honestly. There's a lot of interesting basketball. I didn't watch
the whole stream, but I did see that you were live. I was like, JG really be doing. He is the super streamer because I'm not trying to go live for 3 hours, sir.
You guys are the super streamers, but I'm trying to
3 hours.
Trying to get mine.
I don't know, JG. You do something that we're not about that whole game life.
Right.
And plus, Mike G.
If you could have heard what actually happened when we were backstage talking, we wouldn't have been able to keep that video up anyway.
That's what I'm saying. We're not about that life. We're not about that life.
Can't do it. I was on your live while we were live because I wanted to hear what you had to say.
I was like, "How you doing this, man?"
Listen, man, multitasking. We multiple monitors here. I was like, "Let me just go over here and see how JG's feeling." I was emotional.
I saw in your chat, you got Ed D is saying that JG has gone 8 hours before. Yeah, for the Ole Miss game 2 years ago, dude, I went 8 hours. Ooh. And I was drinking the whole time, bro. And if you remember, that game was really tight, so I was a little bit lit at the end of that game.
I was about to say, man, that sounds like
an amazing show.
Hold on, which one? Is it the one that we won or the one we lost?
No, Auburn won, but it got way too tight at the end, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. It happens sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
sometimes
the one where we got the goal line fumble situation where, like, what's the guy's name? The tight end was going in to score, and we stripped the ball at the end.
I was drinking, man.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, all right, back to your question, Caesar. I took us off in this. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Listen, JG, we want to know your thoughts. Just real quick, rapid fire. Like, who on offense impressed you in the A-Day game on the offense and on the defense side? Got to pick one person.
I know somebody I can pick. Number 4, Tank Bixby. He was awesome in that game. Hell yeah, he was awesome. After that, I don't know. Bo was okay-ish. Offensive line was okay-ish. Wide receivers didn't do much for me. Tight ends were okay-ish. Ain't nobody left, is there? So I'm going to go number 4.
Even with the fumble?
Even with the fumble.
Yeah. Everybody fumbles sometimes. I mean, we've all been there, right?
All right.
Okay.
I'm just saying, spring of 91, you know, there was a Chardell chick that I thought was really, really hot, but it turned out it was a bad idea. I mean, sometimes bad things go wrong, you know?
Hey, I hear it. I'm here for it.
So who do you got on defense?
As having a great game?
Yeah.
Papo. I would say
Papo?
0 and 9. Both had nice games, I thought.
Yeah.
And I like Ladarius, too. Ladarius Tennyson making that transition from nickel to safety. I thought he had a good game as well. He's got that rangy kind of thing that I don't necessarily think they had with Sherwood or with Smoke last year. Or, I mean, even this year with Smoke. But I love the range that he gives. Man, he is so aggressive coming down into the box and hitting. To me, he's like Demetrius McNeil 2.0.
I think I was hoping that there was going to be a wide receiver that would be kind of a player of the game in A-Day, but the game plan or the plan for A-Day didn't really allow for them to get super involved. I felt like, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, man. Mike G, I don't know about this wide receiver core. I mean, we kept hearing about Javarius was going to be really good, and he looked okay, but he had some drops. He had 2 drops, I think.
Yeah,
and I think without Capers out there, and I'm not sure he's a number 1, but Capers, I think, is the best of the guys they've got. He wasn't out there, and you kind of left with Kobe, who's solid, I think. And I just don't see a number 1 receiver. We were talking on our podcast the other day about spots where they need to really fortify. Right. I think it's tailback. I think you need another tailback because I don't think Devin Barrett's the guy. And I think that you need absolutely another wideout. Surely there's some dude like Akron or Pepperdine. I don't know, but there's somebody who's a number 1 somewhere that could come in here and be a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, I was encouraged by the catch that Malcolm Johnson made on the deep ball from Dede. That was good. And he was getting
I don't think in the real game that counts as a catch, though.
Right.
Right.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think they count that.
If they review that in a real game, I don't think that's a catch.
Yeah, I mean, he rolled all the way out of bounds and then let the go by. It would be close for me, but he got behind the defense a couple times. He was underthrown on the ball in the end zone, right?
Yeah, that should have been a touchdown.
It could have been. So, like I said, it was more about the game plan. I think we didn't allow for receivers to showcase much in this. It looks like we're going to be a running football team to me. Certainly.
That's what I told you guys in the last show I did with y'all. I think they're going to be like the Giants were in the early 90s. They're going to run the football, play defense.
Yeah.
And I think they got that. I don't know if you saw this, but in your chat, Spicy Penguin says, ask JG about Grant Loy. You mean to talk about Grant Loy?
Let's not go there just yet.
We have some emotional subs on this. I mean, this was a man. If you could have heard me backstage during the game,
which is why I said we could not go live during our games because Mike G was irate.
I was frustrated with the plan, but I do want to hear your thoughts.
Can we? Yeah. We'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, in a second. I do want to hear your thoughts.
We'll
get Grant Loy didn't do much for me. I know that he started a year at Bowling Green for Scott Loeffler. I mean, if those of you who've been covering Auburn or known Auburn as long as we have, Scott Loeffler, I can't believe he has a job. He's a head coach, no less. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
Grant didn't do much for me, and I have questions at this point about why doesn't Demetrius get more opportunities, more like better opportunities than Grant Loy? That's my question. And that's what I would ask Carson if I had him on right now.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to have him on a show, that's what I would ask him.
Yeah, let's come back to this because I'm so happy that you're here, JG. I really
listen. Since you so happy, Mike G, who made you happy on offense and defense? Let's hear from you, buddy.
You know what? Oddly enough, I'm gonna pick a whole position group and just say, I thought the offensive line showed some better competencies in this for me. Now they had a formidable task up against this defense. It wasn't perfect, but I think that what I saw is that they're taking some steps in the right direction. They've got a ways to go, but the game plan, I think, and if I had to pick a number two, I would say on offense, because Tank did what I expected him to do, I would say probably Bo. As I would pick. Now they had a plan to get the ball out of his hands faster. Clearly, I thought that he tried to stick to that as much as he could, and he's going to have to do that this fall for us to be successful. So, and this is kind of limited. Like my feedback is kind of limited to what the game plan allowed us to see. We didn't get to see much, So based on what we did see, I saw Bo stand in the pocket. He made some good throws. He did some, previous Bo-like things, but he did what was asked. Was clearly he's being coached, and that's what I like to see. Looks like he's getting some coaching, and it's going to be a work in progress. They're changing systems completely. They're being asked to do some completely different things. We have a lot of our subs have told us be patient with this, because it's going to be a transition, and we want to win now, but I agree with that. I just think it's going to be a work in progress, which means what JG's talking about: run like the Giants, play defense, hope you can win as many games as you can doing that. Defensively, just all of it, right? Like I saw guys flying to the ball, right? Swarming the ball. People looked in position on defense, right? And we still got some guys that we're going to add to that this summer that should bolster it even more when Drayshawn Miller gets here. And if we can lock down the corners, this defense gets scary. I'm telling you, this defense can be scary next year. And then we got two awesome linebackers, and Papo and McLean. Just watch out. Watch out for them defensively.
Oh, okay. Ike, who you got, man? Who impressed you on offense and defense?
I really loved what I saw out of Sean Shivers Saturday. I think that he had. I was talking with B Will about this. B Will couldn't be on tonight. He's doing dad duty and all that, man. But I was talking with B Will about this, and basically, I don't know that Sean Shivers had a negative play the entire time. Like, I think every time he touched the ball, he was able to do something positive with it. So that was encouraging to be able to see. I thought he ran really tough and downhill the entire day. I liked, I've been screaming Elijah Canyon for I don't know how long, but I love what I saw out of Canyon. I don't know that he dropped a ball that came in his direction, right? So he caught the only touchdown we had, and I think he just did a great. What I did not like about Canyon, let me say this: he looked really shaky in blocking. He's not a great blocking wide receiver. He's kind of slight, right? Like, he's not a big guy. But he didn't look good blocking. But outside of that, I did like what I saw from him. Defensively, that's difficult because I don't know that anybody just popped to me on defense. There were a couple of guys who had some splash plays, smoked the great recognition on the very first play to be able to weave through the traffic and make that tackle that he had. McLean had a good game. I'll have to go with McLean. I think McLean did a really good job defensively, so I'll go with him for defense.
Well, good. Listen. I didn't do this in school, but I'm definitely looking on your paper, Ike, and taking all of your answers. I like Shivers as well as McLean. Those are the guys who impressed me as well. So, guys, I see you in the comments.
Yeah, I see some good ones here in the comments.
Y'all. Those are our guys who we liked for A-Day who impressed us the most. So definitely looking forward to seeing how they develop down the road, as well as new faces as well, guys. So that's that. Let's get back to the conversation about Loy. Getting back to that. Mike G wanted us, and I didn't forget about that, Mike G. So we
didn't have enough Loy. Gosh.
Well, you did. But Mike G, what's your question, buddy? Where you want to go with this?
Again, going back to game plan here, JG, tell us about. So going in, let me preface this with a statement. Going in to A-Day, I feel like there were some things that we knew, right? Bo clearly the leader based on how they've chosen to manage the QB race, right? And the plan is at least to start the season with him. And then the question after, because we resigned ourselves to that weeks ago, but like the question after that was who's going to be number 2? What is our backup plan? That's where traditionally we've been weak. And so what I expected to see was a healthier rotation behind Bo, like more of an audition. What I think we saw is that they went into that game thinking that he was the clear number 2 with as much time as he got. Is there a different perspective here? Like, how much they played Loy say to you?
I mean, as I've told you, he went into the game as the number 2 guy. He was the number 2 guy last year. So I think it's kind of like inertia. They're just kind of going with where he was. And it's like, DD, he just got here. He's been through half a year of strength training. He needs a little bit. Just get him in a position where he can compete in the fall and see what happens. So I think it's okay to have gone into A-Day and said, all right, Loy can have all the number 2 snaps, and then we'll pull DD in the second half and see what he can do. To me, that's fine in the spring game. I mean, DD's only had at that point 13 practices. That was his 14th. Just see what he can do. Right. And he made a great throw to Malcolm Johnson Jr. And he showed a presence that I thought was pretty remarkable for a kid his age.
Oh, you're saying about DD did.
I'm talking about DD. I thought he had a great game.
I thought you said Lloyd made a great pass.
Lloyd didn't do much for me.
Again, which class was that? Okay.
Nah, Lloyd didn't do much for me. And he hasn't done much for me since
he didn't do much for himself.
No,
I apologize again. His play, it was cheeks. All right. It was complete cheeks. And you guys can be mad at me for whatever you want to. It was cheeks.
We're not talking about Mo Cheeks. We're talking about some other ones.
No.
It was next door to that steak you had in Vegas.
So JG, let me follow up with just a quick statement about why this mattered so much to me, because one of the popular sentiments after that was, hey, it's just A-Day, right? And to me, it wasn't just A-Day. To me, it was, this is the biggest game a lot of these guys are going to have played in. How many of these guys have played in front of 30,000 people? Right? It was an audition. It was a good chance to simulate game management. And I think that if I were a receiver and I got put on the field with Grant Loy, I got screwed. Right? Like, come on, man. Like, you sent me out there with this guy and he threw passes with his eyes closed.
Listen, he airmailed at least 3 passes that I can remember off the top of my, I mean, completely airmailed, like not in the same zip code as a receiver. He overthrew the crosser route. He overthrew an out route. He's 5 yards out of bounds on a deep I'm on a deep corner route. I don't know what people are seeing that are saying that he's a clear, there are people who I've seen in our comment section telling me Grant Loy is the best option at number 2. How?
Right. Yeah. I didn't understand. I didn't understand it. So again, when it now again, contrasting with a little bit that we did get to see of Davis was, he made a really ill-advised throw over the middle. And Ike has been saying that speed of the game is going to be his biggest hurdle to overcome at the college level, right? Like, can you slow the game down enough for him to be able to utilize his talents, in game scenarios his freshman year? And I think that was, he made a bad throw. That's all I can say. He can't sugarcoat that. It wasn't a good throw, but he did some good things. And the thing that I thought he did well was he seemed very comfortable in the pocket, right? There was a play where he he ended up running the ball, but the rush came at him and he did something. He did that little shoulder turn side step that you see the better quarterbacks do. He didn't look panicked at all. And then he ran straight up the middle. Right. I thought it was a good decision. So I would just like, if I had to ask, what did you see in practice that made you think that, did Lloyd, does he practice that great? And it didn't translate on A-Day? Like, what do you think? I mean, or again, is it just what you're saying, inertia, right? Like, oh, he was number 2, so we'll just leave him there and see how he does. Oh, and then my final thing is, do you think that A-Day changed his standing as number 2?
You're talking about Demetrius, right?
No, I'm talking about Lloyd.
Lloyd
changed his standing as number 2.
Look, man, that was my 23rd A-Day, 24th A-Day, something like that, man. There's been a lot of BS that's gone on in A-Day games. I mean, I'm saying, like, there's been, like, years ago, there was a guy named Justin Fetzko, who was like a wide receiver that never did. Yeah, I mean, he's a good dude. He's a good little wide receiver, but he was great in A-Day games for whatever reason. It was like, well, he's going to be a big factor when the fall comes around, and he didn't piss a drop. You know that. You know what I'm talking about, Mike G. And so, like, I've seen a lot of spring heroes that I get excited about as someone who follows the team, and then I'm like, I'm always let down. So I try not to let the spring game really dictate much about what we're seeing. I happen to think that Demetrius is much better quarterback than Grant Lloyd. I think he's better now. I think he's going to be better a year from now. I think he's going to be better 6 months from now. I hope that he goes into the fall camp, plays the way I know he can, and he goes into the season as number 2. I hate it for Grant Lloyd, but whatever. If you're not a good player, not a good player. I didn't see anything passing wise last season that made me think Grant Lloyd was a really big benefit, and I didn't see anything in the A-Day game. I did see a great throw from Demetrius. And you mentioned the run. It's impossible to gauge the runs in spring game, right? Because they were going to – you can't tackle them.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the same thing we saw with Nick Marshall when he started at Auburn. Like, he went into those scrimmages the fall before he started playing at Auburn in 2013. Like, I knew he was going to be a great player. I've seen him play at Garden City, and I knew this. But, like, they couldn't tackle him. So you didn't really know until we saw 3 or 4 games in that he was a really gifted runner, and it's going to be the same thing for Demetrius. Like, you don't know.
I remember Chizik saying the same thing about Cam in his first spring, right? He would take off the run, and they're like, would that have been a 5-yard gain or a 50-yard gain? We don't know. Now, we know now. It was a lot of 50-yard gains, but in spring it was hard to gauge on those QB runs. Definitely.
I listen. I see, and I love you, Ed. I really do. But you keep screaming about reps is the reason why Lloyd needed. I don't want to see reps. He was not playing well. Getting him more reps in an A-Day game. He's never show me tape of him playing well. Please, somebody, not his highlight footage. I'm talking about an entire game. Go and look at his statistics and show me where Grant Lloyd has ever been a good quarterback in college. Ever. And then we can talk about how many more reps he needs. You can't rep your way out of being a bad football player. You have to have talent, and then you rep it to get better. He's missing the first step in this equation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't a good day.
We can talk about how well he knows the playbook, how well he can get people lined up, his height, how well his feet look in the pocket. Once you get past all of that and you get to delivering a football to an eligible wide receiver downfield, it's done. Yeah. And he's a quarterback.
I think Ed was agreeing with you.
He had a good game, though. When he was at Bowling Green, he had a good game.
Thank you, Ed. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Lloyd needed more reps. I was like, no, please. You're saying that Dede lost reps, not getting more. Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Please. I was like, man, I usually agree with Ed.
No. Ed is on point.
I enjoyed the soapbox still.
But, it was great. It was great. Someone other than Mike G turning up. Listen, I got one more question for you, JG, before we get into some of the comments and actually transition to another topic. The consensus is I want to ask you about another quarterback. The consensus is that Garnett is gone.
Okay.
He's a transfer. Like I don't know why he stays, but hey, maybe he's got it.
And we actually did a facts or nah on one of our other segments where that was actually one of the questions that a quarterback would transfer out before the season starts. It's looking more than likely because we have yet to see we didn't see much of Garnett at all in the spring game. What is the likelihood that he's out of here before fall camp?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a possibility, but I don't understand what do they have in him? I feel like he was kind of a player in recruiting that Gus really liked, and nobody else. And not to say he's not a good player, like just Gus. Well, I really like this kid, you know. And I don't know. I didn't see a lot on the tape necessarily, and obviously he's not making a lot of progress in camp because, I mean, he's not going to challenge Bo Nix, right? And he's not challenging Lloyd, and he's not challenging Dede because Dede was repping ahead of him in the 8A game
already. Yeah,
right. So I don't feel like Shea's got a chance here, and I don't necessarily look at that and think it's a lost cause. Like I don't know as though there's a lot of upside there, honestly. And we didn't think that coming in that he had a lot. I thought it was like a 5% chance. And here we are now. I think he's got like a 1% chance. So
yeah, I mean, it does. The prospects don't look good at all for him getting any playing time anytime soon. If he's buried on the depth chart behind Grant Lloyd, then just go to Central Michigan or something. Yeah, they have a good football team. So
that's
I'm not saying that's a bad
that's
thing.
exactly where it needs to be. Somewhere like that. Yeah,
for sure.
Well, let's see. Let's get into somebody. Listen, if you may have a drinking buddy with you this fall, JG. Ryan is saying that if Lloyd start or if he basically beats Davis, I doubt Lloyd ever starts. But if he's a number 2, he's going to be drinking his bourbon right along with you. So you got a buddy there.
Yeah, I know Ryan, and I'd love to drink with him again.
Sounds like a good time.
Hell yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I've seen some. we need another impression from you, JG. That's the first guest impression.
We think it's really important to have your Twitter handle on the back. Now, when I was at Auburn, I didn't have the freedom to do that, but I got it now. So it's big. You gotta have it. You gotta have it. I can't believe he's doing this stuff in Central Florida now. Like he's like, I don't know. Did you guys see the story on AL.com last week where it was like Chiswick was commenting on the difficulty that it is to coach at Auburn? Did you see the story?
I heard about it. I heard about
crazy.
it. I did hear about this. I heard about it.
There's so much pressure at Auburn. You know, you've got Saban up there. And I'm like, Gus's problem was not Saban. Like, he did fine against Saban.
It wasn't.
Right.
It was Georgia.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
He can't beat Georgia. He could not recruit Georgia. He lost to LSU.
I was about to say Georgia and LSU on the road and bowl games. His Achilles heel was winning big games not named Bama.
Yeah, there's so many. We got to put them in line. We got to have a hierarchy there.
Yeah, nobody's getting fired for not being able to beat Saban. Nobody. You know?
Right, and he did good against Saban, honestly. Right. But Georgia, yikes, man.
Yeah. But anyway, Lewis, we're at the halfway point. Listen, guys, I hope you're out here sharing this content, exclusive content like this, man. Please share it so people know we're out here. When you share it on Facebook and Twitter, be sure to use hashtag the War Report and hashtag get your weight up. We got something special coming tomorrow, right, Mike G? What we got, sir?
Man, listen, chop it up with a pro Chris Todd. Again, if you have not seen Ike and Chris break down film, it is a thing of beauty. These sessions are a lot of fun. It will be exclusive to insiders. So if you have been able to view this in the past, you will not be able to view it now unless you're an insider. If you're an insider and you miss it live, you will be able to watch it on replay. So if you don't know what chop it up with a pro is, here's a sneak peek.
The fake is gonna bring that safety down, but that safety did a good job of recovering and picking up the over route.
What do you need to make sure that you're aware of in case something doesn't happen?
He's got to look back to the left.
Right.
Looking at the center's footwork, with whichever way the center's sliding, he's going to step with that foot first. But the center and the right guard have got to see that quicker.
When you have Tank leak out, Tank is going to catch that ball every time they do it. This over route that they're running is going to be open.
Woo, $5.99 will get you there. So you can join up now on our YouTube page. Hit that join button, select Insider, and become an Insider today. Other than that, we dropped an interview with Mr. Cole Kubelik.
Yes, sir.
This Monday. Interesting conversation with him. Definitely go check that interview out. Cole has a lot of interesting insights. We enjoyed spending time with him, talking about all things Auburn and what he's doing. So Cole is a marquee voice in the Auburn community. We appreciate him donating a little bit of his time to talk to us about a few things Auburn related. So that's in that promo. Devin Aromashudu's Chop It Up was incredible.
Well, it's Devin. Devin's badass, man.
He is a complete badass, and he, listening to him dissect the game was something that blew my mind. Talking about receivers reading DBs, and then the quarterback knowing what he's reading, and then just throwing it. He talked about chemistry that like Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison had, where Marvin could change his route, and Peyton just knew what Marvin was going to do. Next level stuff. Obviously, it worked out for those guys quite a bit. Devin learned from those guys, and hearing him talk about what our receivers could be doing or should be doing was amazing. So Chris Todd's is going to be just as amazing, I'm sure. Coming inside and join.
You need to ask some questions of Chris Todd, though, because we know this about this on the bunker at auburnsports.com, but he had a cat at one time, and I want you to ask him. Oh, wait, you already done the show, but if you have him on again, ask him about his cat.
He's coming back on tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Ask him about his cat.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay.
Yeah,
we love Chris Todd. Chris Todd, seriously, man, he doesn't give enough credit, I think, by Auburn people. He was a good quarterback considering the fact he had a grade 3 shoulder separation when he was in junior college. I mean, a lot of people would never be able to throw a football again. And not only did he throw a football again, but he was pretty good at Auburn. I mean, percentage-wise.
Yeah.
And he was an absolute stud in high school in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. I'm talking like super-duper All-American, could have gone anywhere, went to Texas Tech out of high school, but he's a tremendous dude, a really cool guy. I'm glad he's going to be a guest with you guys.
Won the starting job in 8 practices and no spring. That's what kind of guy Chris Todd was. And the quote of that interview, I mean, he told us a lot of stuff off camera, but one of the things that stood out to me about Chris was when he talked about competition, he said, we can be teammates, but he talked to the guy at Oklahoma who won the Jason White, and Jason White, he met Jason White, and Jason White was telling him, he's like, listen, man, every year they're trying to bring somebody in that's better than you every year. And I just want a Heisman. They're trying to bring somebody in that's better than me, so we can be teammates. But that guy is coming for what I have. The backup wants my life, and I'm just going to hand it over to him. So the hell what you talking about? You're going to have to come if you want this starting job. And he talked about a level of competitiveness where if he saw a guy that was doing something that he wasn't doing, he was doing it the next minute. He talked about digging into Graham Harrell for trying to take reps from him during a practice. And he was like, Graham, if you ever pull some shit like that again, it's over for you. Right. And I was like, wow, Chris, for real? I didn't know he was that kind of competitor. He is that kind of competitor, man. I'm hoping that we see some more of that attitude, here at Auburn. Mom, sorry for the curse word.
No, I mean, as much as I appreciate, I'm not Corey Weber. I don't know if we can put this up on the screen, bro.
We love Corey.
Yeah, Corey, appreciate you, man.
Listen, we got a question from Walt. JG, you gonna be allowed at the presses now?
Yeah, well, it makes it sound like I got outlawed or something.
Is
that a story you want to tell us?
Are you banned?
No, I'm Gucci. But I think in the fall we're going to have the opportunity to be there or via Zoom. And since I'm fully vaccinated, I'm not real worried about it. So I would go for sure. I'm looking forward to that, getting back to some normalcy. That is my hope. Now, when the women's basketball coach, Johnny Harris, was introduced a couple weeks ago, we had the option for that one. That was the first time since COVID hit. We had an option of being there in person or doing it over Zoom. So that was really good. I'm really encouraged by that.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out to touchdowns to home
Hey,
runs.
My
what's
man.
up, baby?
Hey, listen, let me just stop right here. Please go check out his channel. He covers a lot of things SEC. He's a big SEC fan over on his channel on YouTube. I had a discussion with him earlier today. I love chopping it up with other creators. Great guy. And he gets into baseball too. So if you're a baseball guy and you're looking for some additional content, go over the touchdowns, the home runs, and check out his channel, man. He's got something special cooking over there.
Yes, sir.
And Corey, you're funny. You're funny, Corey.
Corey, man, what are you doing, bro?
Because you
You got
spelled
it.
it wrong, then yes, Hezzy man. That's what we want him to win.
Yeah. For sure.
Shout out. We got a new member.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's
I don't even know how to pronounce that, but
Hey,
yeah,
I
thank
don't.
you.
That's
Thank
Deep
you, sir.
Generation X, Triple H PED. That's who that is.
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely. Shout out to Corey Weber. Like now, I can sign off on this, but I will be dead before that year gets here. Though.
That's the correct year too. Yep,
Yeah.
that's the year he'll probably win it.
None of us will be around to see that. But listen, definitely, guys, definitely become an insider. And so you can check out that Chop It Up tomorrow. I think it's going to be epic. You're definitely going to get your money's worth. But speaking of people maybe getting their money's worth, let's talk about players getting compensated.
Yeah.
Kay Ivey actually signed the bill. It was announced today that will allow college athletes to be compensated off of their name, image, and likeness. Now, of course, the NCAA is pushing back on this because they want this to be passed in Congress so that it will apply across states. But my question to you, gentlemen, starting with you, JG, is how close are we to actually seeing the reality of college athletes getting compensated in some form or fashion?
Listen, King Dunlap's in the chat right now saying pay the kid. I am King 100%. These kids, the reason that they're big is because they have worked and they have made themselves a name. They deserve to have some of that money. No doubt about it. Now, I want you guys to think one step ahead now. Yes, name, image, likeness is going to be a big deal in the college game. It's going to change things a lot. We're just going to have to deal with it. I mean, they want to cry about it, but that needs to happen. It's going to be the kids that are younger that's kind of weirding me out because people are already angling to try to get these kids name, image, likeness rights when they're in high school.
Right.
So you start thinking about Tank Bigsby. I mean, he's a sophomore at Auburn right now, but let's think about Tank at 8th, 9th grade. I bet a lot of people around him knew he was going to be an absolute stud in Hogansville, right? I mean, like he was playing that game. He was the best player out there. There's going to be people now going to try to get his rights, name, image, likeness rights when he's in 8th, 9th, 10th grade. That's going to be a reality now, and it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. The kids and the families need to get paid. If the kid's awesome and people care, I think you should monetize that. They deserve it. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this all works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that being a little weird, especially for the younger ones. Because, I mean, as somebody who's been in the music industry for a long time, people don't necessarily understand when you start signing contracts at a young age, you start seeing dollar signs as opposed to what you're actually giving up. And I do worry about people taking. I mean, there's already a ton of people like Cecil Newton was out there auctioning his son off, to the highest bidder, when he was trying to get him on a team, and he didn't even have rights, right? But like, just imagine, no shade to Cecil Newton, but just imagine that type of dad who's just like, all right, well, my son can and I'm gonna sell it to whoever, right? Without even really knowing what the son really wants to do.
Hey, he said that his son was not a rented mule. That's what he told me. I'm telling you in an interview.
Okay.
Just saying.
Fair enough.
Maybe that's just reported.
Yeah. I do think you raised an interesting point about, again, people trying to buy rights before they've even stepped foot on.
They're not going to be trying, Mike.
Yeah.
They're going to do it. I promise you, because I've had conversations with these people.
Yeah.
They're pretty legitimate. I mean, it's not like some shady dude that lives like in an alley. These are the companies. These are corporations. These are people with a lot of money. But they've already got their eyes on this, and they're saying, we're going to run the camp series. We're going to own the camp series, and we're going to get this name, image, likeness situation set up for them when they're in 8th grade, when they're 9th grade, when they're in 10th grade. I'm telling you, it's going to be a reality.
Yeah. Listen, as far as I just don't want to see any more kids lose eligibility because they accepted a tattoo or somebody, I mean, we've heard all kinds of stories, or somebody paid for their ticket to go home because a family member died.
Yeah.
Or,
Right.
I mean, just no brainers to me that, we're changing, altering the course of their life over silly things like that. You take $5 from somebody and all of a sudden you're ineligible. Like, give me a break. Now there's a difference, right, between things like that, and it's already impossible to fully monitor, right? Like, money on the side is happening whether we like it or not, because the stories keep coming out of people getting caught doing it. What I feel like is, in a sense, decriminalize it in a sense, that you can do just basic things, and the stuff that's nefarious that's going on. I just don't think you're ever going to stop that, man. Like, to some extent, you make laws and then you make better villains. You make better crooks. You're not ever going to stop that. But the kids that are getting hurt that aren't really doing anything wrong, in my book, that's where the tragedy comes in. So this is a step in the right direction. Like, even if the NCAA doesn't improve it, maybe some other states will follow suit, right? And if enough people follow suit, we could get this thing right. There always have to be exceptions, but they got to get this right.
Man, Alabama's never going to be on the front of anything. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah, listen, my best friend says, once you cross the state line, set your clock back 30 years. But
I'm not going to say all that, but I mean, come on.
But, hey.
That hurt. But yeah, man, I think we got some questions here that I definitely want to, I think, focuses in. I want to kind of direct this discussion. What is the impact? Because basically Alabama is following Florida's lead, right? And so if you're able to be compensated at, let's say, Florida and Gainesville, Dan Mullen has an offense. If you're an upcoming receiver, quarterback, I mean, that offense has produced some quality players. If I can go let my talent shine there, maybe even compete for an SEC title, get to the NFL and make some change along the way, and the state of Alabama doesn't have this bill signed, I mean, is that a recruiting edge to a school like Florida?
I would say yes, absolutely.
Somebody asked an interesting question. Did you see the guy ask about whether or not you feel like not South Carolina? He said SC and it went South Carolina in my head, but he's talking about USC would have an advantage and stuff like that because of their proximity to Hollywood. So
let me say this. Okay, so the difference between the haves and the have-nots is always going to be there, right?
Correct.
The glamour schools already have an advantage, right?
Agreed.
Auburn already has an advantage over schools like Memphis, and it's not going to put these schools any further behind.
Right.
That's not what's going to happen, right? So I just want to make sure that we distinguish that. It's just going to be a bigger fight amongst the guys who already hold all the power cards.
They're already doing stuff. Like, let's be clear. It's happening now. Sure. They just don't want people to get in trouble and lose eligibility because of it. Like, it happens all over the place.
Somebody in your chat, Lawrence, is saying, I think it'll actually provide more parity. UCLA will get better talent. I'm not sure, man. I think everybody's going to be able to do something. I mean, yeah, UCLA's near Hollywood, or a lot closer to Hollywood than, say, Auburn or Kentucky, but Auburn's got some great things too, and they have a network. Let's just say that Tim Cook and Cam Newton, pretty important people.
Yeah,
indeed,
for sure.
Indeed. Well, guys, we definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Drop some comments to let us know what you think about this. Does this help the state of Alabama in terms of Alabama and Auburn? Does it create more parity? We just want to hear from you guys. As also before we get out of here, definitely want to talk about, since we're talking about schools and other conferences, there's been an article out here proposing an actual super league. And for those of you who are not familiar, I believe the writer is, did I have him? No, I do not have him.
He's in the graphic. Yeah, it's on the graphic.
It is on the graphic. Yeah. So we want to know this article by Andy Staples. He proposed from The Athletic. He proposed an actual Super League conference.
Oh,
so you see, go with us, JG. Go with us here.
All right.
So in this is Alabama, Auburn, Clemson, Florida, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Oregon, Penn State, Texas, and SC, as previously mentioned. Now, of course, we want to know from you guys who should stay and who should go. What you got, guys?
Man, just toss Nebraska right out of there, right?
That was my obvious one.
Dave was wondering about that
was
too.
the obvious
Nebraska?
one, right?
Really?
Okay, okay, let's do this. What are some teams that already come to your mind that's like, where was this school when he made this list?
Hey, first of all, the Super League, this is obviously playing off the European Super League, the soccer situation,
right?
Which died 2 days into its life, right? It crashed down, started crashing down yesterday, it completely crashed down today. So it made it 2 days. I think it would face the same fate in America too. Yeah, but if you're talking about who the big dogs are that could draw, Auburn belongs in that conversation. I mean, as the second group, Alabama, Ohio State, right? Mm-hmm. Clemson at this point has kind of pulled ahead of Auburn. Normally, like in the course of my life, Auburn and Clemson have been about the same, if not Auburn ahead.
Right.
But here lately, last 5-10 years or so, it's been a little bit different. But Nebraska,
right?
Hey, they think they're really relevant, but does anybody care about them?
Yeah, that's a.
That was last time they was relevant. They were running the option.
Yeah,
not the read option, like the for real option. Like
it was the Tommy Frazier days, really. Like
they're the ghosts of Christmas past. But like I'll say something controversial here. Notre Dame in a Super League would be at the bottom of the Super League.
No, really?
Absolutely.
Oh, Mike G, I don't know, man.
What other team has consistently underperformed on the big stage?
First of all, I'm Catholic, so I got to have their back. I don't want to, but I got to.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, they've been pretty good here lately. I mean, I'm not saying they're in the SEC. They've been pretty good. They go like 10-2 every year, right? I'm saying in the SEC they're like 4th or 5th, but I mean, it's still pretty good.
They get trounced on a big stage.
They do.
And in a Super League, every game is a big stage.
I know, but we're talking about
literally not made for this.
We're talking about top 16. Like, I'm not talking about number 1. They're in the top 16.
Let's be clear. They definitely beat Nebraska.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I'll give you that.
Central Florida can do that. Troy can do that.
They definitely beat Nebraska. But to your point, Mike, like to me, I'm thinking of schools like where's Texas A&M? If you're going to put Nebraska in there, where's Texas A&M?
Yeah, I would take
Florida State,
Nebraska. Yeah.
Now I know Florida State isn't much these days, but they've won a natty.
If you're going to put Nebraska in there, then you might as well put Florida State in there. I mean, because if we're just going off of name recognition, or was Miami on that list?
No,
you might as well put Miami in there if you're going to put Nebraska in there.
But I'm saying Florida. Yeah, but yeah,
Michael Irvin ain't walking through that door.
Neither
Dorsey ain't walking through that door.
Neither is Dion or
Morg Dunn.
I don't understand. Somebody said put the graphic back up real quick. I got you. Hold up. Okay. There's your teams right there.
Yeah. Let's just let this marinate for a second.
I mean, it's just kind of funny. He's just trying to listen, man. I know Andy Staples. He loves his food. I'm just saying, seriously, he does a little barbecue, but he's just trying to get people fired up here.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I don't have any problem with most of these schools. I would argue that lately Michigan is kind of questionable by continuing
they're fine
in there in a Super League.
They could stay there, but Texas is the one to me that's teetering.
I'm with you, Ike.
Texas is kind of iffy.
Very iffy
there. And even Oregon, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Oregon. I was gonna say.
Like Pac schools, any Pac school, I've just put a big question mark by them for me. I think they are the weakest of Power 5 conferences by a long shot. But the rest of it, like I said, Texas A&M, I think it's a little disrespectful to put Nebraska over Texas A&M, and you know what that is? That's that anti-SEC. Like, oh man, we already got 5 SEC teams in there, so can't put a fifth, 6th one. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, these things are fun to look at. But I think one of the things that these little thought exercises do is that it reminds us of the disparity between haves and have-nots in college football, right? A school like Nebraska, who has done nothing, even being put in the conversation, is ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. I think again, Ghost of Christmas Past with them, I'm not really feeling that. And Penn State, I thought Penn State was a good choice. I thought Penn State was a good choice to include in the Super League, but I would argue that I would put Wisconsin in over Nebraska.
Yeah, one of my friends, Becky, texted me and said Nebraska out, A&M in.
Nebraska out, A&M in. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Random, since we're talking about Nebraska, how much more time they're going to give Scott Frost, in your personal opinion? He was the Wonder Boy.
2 more years.
2 more?
2 more years. They love him. They absolutely love him. Sean Callahan, who's the publisher at the Nebraska site in our network, he's been doing this forever. He thinks they still love Scott Frost. Now, look, I know all 4 of us are like, what? He sucks. Yeah. I got a lot of questions, but they love him. They absolutely love him. It's like if Cam Newton was the coach and he had gone undefeated at UTEP or somewhere like that, like the people would give him some slack, right?
Right.
Like 10 years from now or whatever. So they're going to give him another 2 years.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Ed, that is a hilarious comment.
Yeah, for real. Becky with the good hair. She does have good hair, by the way.
JG, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Also random. Does Gus ever hit you up and say, "Listen, man, your impressions of me are just not on point"? Right? I sound nothing like that. Does he ever call you? Do you guys talk?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he doesn't really get on me about that, but like I'll say stuff about him on a radio show, and he will answer me or he'll text me as I'm on the show. Like, one time we were talking about how a couple years ago I couldn't believe he didn't get fired. Like I knew he was going to get fired before he got fired. Like I think it was 19, and the powers that be were kind of coming against him, and I knew he was going to get fired. And I was like, guys, seriously, TikTok, guys, it's about to happen. I can't believe he got. And then like a month later, I was like, I can't believe he got out of this. He was Houdini. I was still on the air, and I got a text from him that said, "Houdini, you think I'm Houdini now?" I was like, what? Dude, I'm on a radio show in Arkansas. How'd you know that? He's listening, man. He's listening.
Sent him a message and was like, "Hey, we got a guy on here talking about you."
That's scary. I'm sure he hates it.
Yeah. He has his foibles as a head coach, believe me. But he's a good dude. He's a really good dude, and he's got a great wife.
Well, no one disagrees that he's a good dude.
He's definitely
we love him as a person. Really?
Some people don't like him. They think he's a nerd.
That's whatever.
Whatever.
That ain't got nothing to do with whether he's a good guy.
That's not an insult, though.
He doesn't cuss. He doesn't drink bourbon. So I mean, draw your own.
Did you guys see this Scott Parker facts and knock? You have to tweet us this one right here.
Yes. Dude. Oh, my bad. I had my hand on it too.
Yeah. This is good.
Scott, if you don't have a Twitter account, set one up tonight.
Please.
And tweet us ASAP.
We need the screen grab for the show.
That's a good one.
You have to tweet this one at us.
We need it for the screen grab so that we do it. All right. We need that. That's a good one.
Yeah. I love this. And speaking of facts, if you don't know what this is our rapid fire question and answer segment that we release every Friday. And every segment we take one fan question, but you have to tweet it at us at the War Rapport on Twitter. So please tweet this at us. Tweet your facts or not. Hypotheticals. We love getting the fan questions. So certainly,
no doubt.
Wow, yeah. I'm not even going to dig into that because I know Scott's going to tweet that, and then we're going to do a whole segment on it and argue about it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting season. Coming full circle back around to A-Day, I think that A-Day, my biggest takeaway from A-Day was we have a lot of work to do. There's still ways to go for this team. And Harson's got, his work. While he has talent, he's still got his work cut out for him in a lot of ways. So the final thing I want to pose is, again, we ask this question, gets asked a lot about what is a successful season for Auburn in 2021. JG, what do you think? What's a successful season look like for Brian Harsin in 2021?
I think if you get 8 wins, you got to feel like that's a pretty good season. I mean, they got a tough schedule. and they never get like a long homestand. It's always like home, road, home, road, home, road. And I think it's tough until you get in the second half of the season to get any kind of momentum going. I mean, you got that run where you got like, and I think Ole Miss is going to be tougher than people realize, but you got that Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I don't have the schedule up in front of me, but it's like in October, they could get on a run. But, and also, I mentioned this on my show the other day. I have some questions about Auburn at Penn State. If Penn State does not have full capacity by the time that game, let's say we get to July,
right,
and they still don't have full capacity because they don't right now in Pennsylvania. If they don't get it, I wonder if they're going to flip that game a little bit.
Right.
Where Auburn would play at home against Penn State this year and then go to Penn State next year. I think that's a possibility. And if that happens, that changes the dynamics of that game for me.
Yeah, that changes it a lot because our offense has not showed up on the road the last few years. So if we're at home, it gives us a better chance.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
So on the flip side, what does a unsuccessful season look like for Brian Harsin?
Well, I mean, I think he gets slack either way, but if 6 wins or less to me, that means you're losing to like a Mississippi State or an Ole Miss, which honestly, Ole Miss is getting better.
That could happen. I mean, Ole Miss is they're on the upswing. Yeah, they are on the upswing, and I don't see Leach's Bulldogs getting worse. Like they have nowhere to go but up, considering the season they had in year one. So I mean, you are playing a better team, so it's possible, right? But it's I just want to see us not get blown out by our rivals. How about that? Like if we lose, I want to see us actually compete. I want to see consistency from week to week, to where one week we look like world beaters, and then the next week we look like we didn't practice or watch film at all. Right?
Dude, it's like, Auburn. Like they should be competitive all the time. I mean, I'm just being real about it. Yeah. Like I don't think anybody here is saying Auburn should go undefeated every year.
Right.
No. There's no reason they should be getting crushed by Georgia every year. They haven't won a title since I was a baby, and I'm old. They lose at LSU. They lose to South Carolina. Like you just got to turn that around. Beat Georgia. That's all that really matters.
Okay, so our consensus is 8 wins or more is a successful season.
Yeah.
7, you're all right. We'll give you a pass. 6 or less, failure. And year one. 6
or less, and I think Derek Mason ought to be the head coach. I love Derek Mason.
Right. Yeah, I like him too.
Fair enough. Yeah, I agree with you. At 6 wins, you definitely lost a game you weren't supposed to lose.
I will say this, though. I don't know if you saw this, but my friend Brian Stoltz, who's been writing for the Auburn Wire, has been talking to Takeo Spikes. And Takeo's got some interesting things to say about if they need to win in the SEC, specifically beat Georgia and LSU, why do they hire a guy from out of this part of the country to do that? And that's kind of, that's a controversial take, right?
Right.
Because where a guy's been coaching, I don't think really matters that much. But
I was about to say, I don't know the relevance of where he's been coaching before as to whether or not he can beat a football team in a certain part of the country.
If you want to take that up with Takeo face to face, you're welcome to do it. I don't want to do it.
I'll ask him the question myself. I don't have a problem with that. It's all right.
He's a tough man now.
Listen, he's an intimidating brother, but I'll still ask him the question.
Yeah. From the other room behind the walls.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in.
I'm a distance.
I'll FaceTime you, Takeo.
Yeah, I say with my chest on stream.
Yeah, right. Okay. Have that one.
Yeah, man. But
yeah.
I go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just saying, like, I think as we go through and engage with the fan base and with our subscribers and our channel members. There a lot of people are split, right? We have a prominent commenter, a prolific commenter. His name is Steve Vest. He's been on the 66 7-5 train for a really long time. He's saying that, hey, and he's preaching patience with this first year staff. Be patient with them guys. Like, it's going to take them a while to plug in. I think that given the expectations will be somewhat low and they'll fly under the radar, that if they can tweak some things and they can game plan better than we have been and make in-game adjustments better than we have been in the past. I think a surprise season is not completely out of the question. Take some people by surprise early. By the time you get into October, if you're 4-0, people will start taking you seriously. But you need to beat LSU or I think beating LSU or Georgia would be a real statement for Harsin this year. You know, a lot of people watched the LSU spring game and thought that they looked like they were a mess, but I still think that they're going to be formidable in 2021. But Georgia win would just be so sweet in year one. Right. So, you know, here's your sunshine pump moment from Mike G. Like, if we could just beat Georgia, I will be satisfied with year one.
Dang, that's all it takes, huh?
Yeah, just beat Georgia. I am so sick and tired of
1-11, but we beat Georgia.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you beat Georgia, you likely are winning the games that you're supposed to be winning.
That's
right?
11 broken TVs.
Oh man, listen, I mean, we're working out a deal, JG, where I can live stream myself during a game, and we did an instant reaction show after the 8A game, and we warned everybody these are just instant reactions. We're fans just like you guys in this moment. Right. So a lot of people thought we overreacted, but I was just like, no, man, that's your initial reaction to the game. Right. Like, you watched it, and I watched it like it was an actual SEC game. I was so jacked up for some football. I watched it like we were competing against somebody who was not Auburn. And, you know, this fall is going to be really interesting. I think there are going to be a lot of, you know, remote at the TV moments. I'm an Auburn fan, so I'm ready for that ride. Right. Yeah. We've been on that ride for a long time, so it won't be anything abnormal. Closing out here, or what is the one game that you're looking forward to on this schedule, JG? Which one is a must-see for you?
Man, that's a tough one for me. Spicy Penguin in your chat says 22 years, mentioning that they haven't won in Baton Rouge since 99.
Wow.
And they're playing at LSU this year, so that would be a nice streak to break.
Yeah.
Finally pissing a drop against Georgia would be nice, right? But for me, I live in Montgomery, Alabama, and I got friends. Some of my best friends live across the street from me, and they're Bammers. I'd like to see Auburn beat Alabama, but I mean, because it just keeps people quiet, you know, in my neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure.
I get it. I get that.
I get it.
But
understood.
From an Auburn fan perspective, boy, a win in LSU hadn't happened again in 22 years. In Georgia. There's so many Auburn people in Georgia. They have to hear this every year because, I mean, they haven't beaten Georgia in a minute, man.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
I can't even remember how long. I mean, seriously, how long has it been? Like 8 years? No, it was 07. It was 07.
Yeah, but 2017 we won that game.
That's right. When Carry-On was healthy, everything was fine.
Yeah.
So one win in like the last
I think on the road, I think it was with Brandon Cox game. Was that the last time we beat them in Stanford?
05?
Sanford Stadium? I think it's 05.
Wow.
It's just Georgia. Like, it isn't some.
That was the last time we beat them in Georgia.
Clemson or Ohio State or something. It's Georgia. They should beat Georgia. Sometimes. I mean, half the time.
Just every now and then.
Yeah,
right?
50%.
The reason why those two schools in specific to me are so frustrating is because we had winnable games against both of them in the last 5 years.
Agreed.
And we absolutely pooped the bed at the end of those games.
Absolutely.
And again, a more disciplined, fundamentally sound team pulls those victories out, right? And I'm hoping with the head coach we have now that we get the ball to bounce our way should we find ourselves in close games with them down the road. So I'm hoping that this is a sign of positive things to come under Harsin. Listen, sidebar off the record, I thought this was funny. It may be true, Corey, that Takeo's Next does has its own Instagram account. Okay. I think so. I'm gonna go looking for it today. All right. Right after this show is over with.
Hey, listen, the book of JG, chapter 4, verse 6. It's just Georgia.
It's just Georgia. Like, seriously. Why does Auburn have to lose 5 of 7 against them? Like,
that's
Georgia.
A t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt. Yep.
They haven't won anything since 1980, man.
I get a t-shirt.
I like this idea.
Yeah, just Georgia.
Listen, man. JG, man. I know you got us on the time limit tonight, man. But we appreciate you as always stopping by to holler at us, man. There you go.
Love being here on the show, yo.
So yeah, man, I appreciate that. And we appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Wednesday night as always, man. We don't take it for granted, man, that y'all are spending some of your precious time with us. And let other people know we're out here as well, man. Don't be stingy with the War Report. Let us know, let people know on your timelines that we are out here. Even after this live comes to an end, the video will be posted. Please share it, guys. On Facebook, Twitter. Make sure you hashtag the War Rapport and hashtag get your weight up when you share these videos, and let people know that the War Rapport is out here putting out great content in the off season.
Yeah.
Mike G, let the people know what's coming up, sir.
Oh man, listen, chop it up with a pro Chris Todd tomorrow. You don't want to miss this. Become an insider and you can be a part of this spectacular moment in your life. Ike Jones and Chris Todd breaking down film. It is a thing of beauty. You don't want to miss it. We're going to have a great time tomorrow night, $5.99. You can sign up from your computer, from an Android phone. And if you are on an iPhone, just need to go into your Safari web browser and view YouTube in desktop mode to sign up. You'll see that join button. Can't do it through the iPhone YouTube app. Our GoFundMe is live. You can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. This is a great way to support the work that we do. We have some great things coming for you guys in the coming weeks with building rapport, facts or null, and some new segments that we're working on here leading up to the season. Our interview with Cole Kublick, is live. This was a great talk with Cole. If you haven't seen this, I highly recommend that you go check that out.
We're getting further and further into the Brian Harsin era, so we got to take these opportunities as we can, JG. One more Gus Malzahn impersonation, man, for the road, man.
Well, there's no doubt. I'll tell you what, when you ask me what I like to eat on the road, I definitely think it'd be cheese puffs. Crystal. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hey, man, he said in an interview one time that his favorite group, I can't believe he ever listened to music, but he said his favorite group was the Cars. This is a true story. He said his favorite group was the Cars, and I thought that was absolute BS. So I said, hey, Gus, tell me your two favorite. Seriously, it's happened. What's your two favorite Cars albums? And he's like, Shake It Up and Panorama. And I mean, those are actual albums. I didn't know what to say. I was like, my goodness. All right, man, cool. Oh, I mean, he didn't know that. He made those names up. But he was right.
Gus. Oh, Gus.
Couldn't believe it. Hey, also, one more thing. I talked his wife into letting me get in his BMW. What is it, an i3? I think that thing. It's like a race car, basically. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So Christy has her name on the title, so I was able to talk my way into his car. I got in his car. I've sat in his car and I backed out of his driveway. Do you know what channel it was on? It was on a channel on XM. It was on The Message. So he was listening to Christian rock. That is his choice when he's driving his BMW i3.
Wow. All right.
No hating on that. I'm just saying I was expecting it to be something like acid rock or XM Turbo or something like that.
He really is a good guy.
Of course he is.
Confirms it for me.
He's actually a real cool dude, man. And you got seriously, you got to give respect to a guy who marries well, and he did. Christy's absolutely outstanding. She's one of my all-time favorites. She would be one of y'all's all-time favorites if you met her.
I've heard that.
Ike, you would love her, man. She's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. Travis
smart
Williams,
too.
Travis Williams' wife, Janine, and I are good friends, and she talks about what a good woman Christy is. Quite a bit. So.
She will, man. Don't get me started.
Yeah. So,
and hey, back to you know Antarius too, right? He gets left out of this conversation, but Antarius Williams is a great Auburn guy too.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, we had him on the show.
We did an interview with him.
Yeah,
did you really?
Yeah, he was one of our best building rapport interviews. I enjoyed talking to him. You're talking about somebody who understands the game, right? Like he described himself as undersized.
Oh, that's fair.
But he could outthink you on the field. I mean, he was a smart linebacker. I mean, those guys. I mean, between him and Travis and Karibi Dede, that might be the smartest group of linebackers we've ever had.
Dr. Karibi Dede.
My bad, Dr. Dede.
And Terry, his best season he played at Auburn, he played with a club on his hand the whole damn year. That's how tough he is.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that
as
Number
well.
31. Too. Absolute badass.
He told a story about a workout Yox made him do because he was late to a meeting. and he thought he was something. His leg was messed up.
Yeah, I think he broke either a foot injury, ankle injury, something lower leg injury where he was like either on crutches or a cast or whatever, and he's like, I'm not gonna have to work out today.
Yeah,
and he made him do the whole thing on this little rolling situation on his knees.
Yeah, he was like, you thought you was getting out of this punishment workout? Nope, because there's time, and then there's Yachts time.
Slow.
And if you weren't on Yachts time, you were in trouble. So I really liked that interview with Antarius. He doesn't normally do. He said he doesn't do interviews. It's not his thing, but he did one for us, so we really appreciate it.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. With JG, we definitely, as usual, man, we got to have you on, and man, it's been fun. We enjoyed you, man. And guys, be sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at The War Rapport. We are TW Rapport on TikTok. Signing off for this week's show, but as always and forever, War Eagle.
War Eagle.